everyone, it's Taylor here. Today I'm going to share with you how I created these rainbow cards using our innovative striped stencils. So let me share with you a little bit more about these stencils. They come 2 in a package and there are 3 different widths. There's 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, and 1 inch. One stencil covers a full 6x6 piece, and the second stencil includes alignment guides for creating the stripes like I did on my project. So it's one single stripe that you repeat multiple times. I'll also be using the folk art phrases for the sentiments and Spring Stems clear set for the images. I have my white rhinestones, which I'll be applying with the Embelly Jelly Pick and Place tool, and I'll be using purple tape to adhere the stencil and the Easy Runner Grand adhesive to adhere the card pieces together. I've chosen a variety of inks in a rainbow of colors, starting with Fruit Punch, Candy Corn, Lemon Meringue, then Granny Smith, Cookie Monster, and Jelly Donut. I'll be applying those over the stencil with my blender brushes. In this video, I'll be using the stencil with one single opening for each stripe. You can see the alignment guides that are etched into that stencil, allowing you to perfectly center your cardstock and also to create stripes that are perfectly spaced. So I'm going to take my cardstock and place it in between those vertical lines that you can see etched to make sure that my cardstock is centered and my stripe is exactly where I want it to be. I'll hold it in place with a little bit of purple tape, and then I'm actually going to work backwards on the rainbow. I wanted to make sure that thickest stripe was exactly where I wanted it, so I started at the bottom of my card. Once that stripe is blended, I'm going to take the 3/4 inch stripe stencil, and I'm going to align the top of the blended stripe with that alignment guide that's etched onto the stencil. Now that makes sure that each stripe that I add is equally spaced. Of course, if you want less space, you can just move it down and not use those alignment guides. Next, I'll grab the thinnest stripe, the 1/2 inch, and do the same thing, aligning that etched guide with the top of the previously blended stripe. Then I'll add my last 2 colors, red and orange, so that when I pull this stencil up, I have 3 stripes blended with 6 different colors in a rainbow of red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple, with equally spaced white space between those stripes. It's time to clean my 1/2 inch stencil before I begin the next technique. I like to do that with my cleaning cloth and a little bit of Stamper's Spritz. Here I have my stencil centered on those vertical lines, and I'm going to blend the top red stripe. Then I'm going to take that, wipe off the red so that I can continue with orange, and I'm going to line up that etched alignment guide with the bottom of the previously blended stripe. Then I'll go ahead with the orange, move that down so the alignment guide is matched up with the bottom of the orange line, and then I'm going to do the yellow line. And I'm going to continue that all the way down the cardstock in rainbow order. Now sometimes I wash in between and sometimes I don't, just kind of depending on the intensity of the color I used before and whether it's going to contaminate the next color. So here I am with the purple finishing off this project, and you can see the white space in between is perfectly equal between all of the stripes because we use those etched alignment guides. Now I'm going to use some sentiments to finish off these cards. I have "You, my friend, are amazing." I've picked that up, and just to make sure that it's exactly the spot that I want it, it is really important when you're doing stripes, you want your sentiments straight or you will notice. So you can see my "You" needs to be moved down just slightly, so I'm picking that up, placing it down, and then I have it in the exact spot that I want it when I stamp onto my card. Now I'm going to do the same with the next panel that we did using the "Hello Friend," and again using that acetate to help me determine that I have my sentiment perfectly where I want it. I want that "hello" moved slightly down so that it's within the white space, so I moved that and then stamped it again. I wanted to add a little bit of extra interest to the background of the card, so I grabbed a couple of my micron pens. I have 2 different widths here, and I'm just going to use my ruler, lining that up with the grid line paper in the background to make sure that my lines are straight from left to right. I really didn't have any rhyme or reason as to where I decided to add lines. I just wanted to make a fun pattern in the background. You could certainly do something more consistent, or you could keep it very random like I did. I'm going to continue with the same idea on the second panel. You can see I start with a thicker line right on the edges of the sentiment, and then I continue outwards with thinner lines to fill the rest of the space. Now once that's finished, it's time to add our images. I decided to use the Spring Stems clear set, so I'm going to need my foam piece and my Misty, and I'm going to set up with a couple different silhouette images. I decided to also add a butterfly to each of these, and I'll be stamping them with Oreo ink. Now a lot of times in the videos I will stamp more than once, but I do cut that out so you don't have to watch me stamp multiple times. But for a really crisp black image, you will want to stamp these more than once. Just keeping your cardstock in the same place, you can close your Misty multiple times to get that crisp black image. So that was all fairly simple, and you can see how these bright and cheerful backgrounds turned out using a rainbow of colors and a few pops of black. To continue with the pop of black, I'm going to put these on black card bases. I've cut them from Oreo cardstock, scored and folded them, and then I'm going to use my Easy Runner Grand to adhere them to the card bases. This is a newer adhesive that I've been trying lately, and I really like it. I think it's a great value, and it's really easy to hold and apply. So if you're looking for a new adhesive, I would recommend trying the Easy Runner Grand. Next, I'll be applying my white rhinestones because I can't make a card without a little bit of sparkle. I put them in the place where I want them and then slightly move them aside to add a drop of glue so then I can place those rhinestones right back where I had them. I find that the easiest way to make sure I get my rhinestones right where I want them. So now that those are finished, I can send them off to friends. I hope you learned something new from today's video and you're feeling inspired to give these a try yourself. You can find all of the products at the Taylored Expressions web store at tayloredexpressions.com.